Welcome in to the Fun Astrology and Merriman Market Analyst regular Saturday financial episode. I'm Thomas Miller. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to be reading this week's abbreviated column from MMAcycles.com, the free weekly newsletter published every week to take a look at the market the week prior and looking ahead. The newsletter written and published by Ray Merriman from MMAcycles.com. And this one is abbreviated because of their webinar that they are having tomorrow. There's a brief mention of that toward the end, but let's dig in. First of all, an article from CNBC.com on May 15th. Inflation eased slightly in April, providing at least a bit of relief for consumers while still holding above levels that would suggest a cut in interest rates is imminent. Consumer Price Index increased 0.3% from March, the Labor Department's Bureau of Labor Statistics reported on Wednesday. That was slightly below the Dow Jones estimate for 0.4%. And this article is from the Associated Press, entitled First Single-Digit Inflation in Months, again dated May 15th. Argentina's monthly inflation rate eased sharply to a single-digit rate in April for the first time in half a year. Data released Tuesday showed an indicator that boosts Javier Milei's austerity program aimed at fixing the economy. Annual inflation is at 289%. Now, Ray's comments, and again abbreviated because of their webinar coming up, but he does check in to say that the, quote, translations of the Sun and Venus to the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction in Taurus, the sign of finances, last week lifted U.S. and several global stock indices to new all-time highs, as well as propelling significant rallies in gold, silver, and Bitcoin. It fits, as any transiting planet touching off the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction can have a powerful bullish effect when prices are near their all-time or yearly highs. With Jupiter remaining prominent into the first week of June, this euphoria may continue. The question is, how long can this euphoria and bullish behavior last? With the emphasis in Taurus, traders and investors are prone to be complacent. That may be an unwise choice of activity, as the convergence of all planetary benefics in Taurus is coming to an end. The next month will probably not be a favorable time for traders and investors to adopt the lifestyle of a couch potato. Now this week's short-term Geocosmics. From Jerry Lee Lewis's A Whole Lot of Shakin' Going On, from back in 1958. Well, come over, baby. We got chicken in the barn. Whose barn? What barn? My barn. Come on over, baby. Better get your bull by the horn. We ain't faking, whole lot of shaking going on. Having the Sun and Jupiter in the stable and grounded sign of Taurus has been good for both the economy and the stock market over the past month. Inflation has stabilized, and many of the stock indices of the world bottomed April 17th to 19th, just as the Sun left Aries and entered Taurus, the sign of the bull. Now they are making new all-time highs. All that stability may suddenly change as both the Sun and Jupiter leave the pleasant pastures of Taurus the Bull for the more disruptive and chaotic sign of Gemini this week. Yes, there is going to be a whole lot of shaking going on the next month, probably the next year, as Jupiter will be in Gemini May 25th of 2024 through June 9th of 2025. In Gemini, it will be more challenging to grab your bull by the horns. Gemini is a mutable, dual sign, symbolized by twins going in different directions, which means sudden reversals to long or intermediate-term cycles are more likely than usual. New highs can be followed by sudden downturns and vice versa. Governmental and banking policies are also vulnerable to sudden changes, and investors may feel whipsawed by the reaction of markets to these surprise changes, of course. Chaos, Jupiter in Gemini, is going to be on the rise, which may favor the fortunes of Gemini Donald Trump in the upcoming presidential election. Trump, of course, known for his chaotic Gemini leadership style. On Election Day, transiting Jupiter, the planet of luck and good fortune, will be conjunct his natal Sun, symbol of one's leadership. And yet, we have the twin parties of U.S. politics, Republicans and Democrats, headed in opposite directions. This will likely create an opportunity for a third-party candidate such as Robert Kennedy Jr., adding yet another element of possible surprise. It is interesting that leaders of both the Republican and Democrat parties are claiming the mantle of democracy, yet both are trying to prevent RFK Jr. from participating in the debates. But Jupiter in Gemini will want to hear all sides of a debate, not just a brawl that has mostly entertainment drawing power. Additionally, Gemini is an air sign, and air signs value choice and fairness. This effort to censor RFK Jr. may backfire. The powerful stellium of the Sun, Venus, Jupiter, and Uranus from May 13th to the 23rd is following the upside breakout course for stocks suggested last week. This is the first, quote-unquote, translation of the powerful 14-year Jupiter-Uranus conjunction of April 20th by faster-moving planets, including the Sun, which means the air of excitement suggested by Jupiter and Uranus is back. This pertains to the field of technology, and especially AI, as part of technological renaissance. New innovations and applications may be announced during the next month, which can further elevate stock markets. However, traders and investors must also be prepared for overreaction, as in a bubble, while Jupiter, exaggeration and overoptimism, is in the volatile sign of Gemini. Gemini is an excellent astrological symbolism to the concept of what goes up must come down, or the higher they go, the harder they fall. Given that several intermediate and even longer-term cycles are due by the end of the year, I expect wild times ahead for traders and investors, with larger and more frequent price swings in both stocks and metals, and probably cryptos too. As to the timing of these highs and lows, well, that will be the focus of Saturday's mid-year financial market webinar. Looking forward to seeing many of you there. And that concludes this week's newsletter. If you do go to MMAcycles.com, both in the weekly forecast tab and the shop products and services tab, will get you to information on that webinar. Thank you so much for listening. Have a wonderful weekend. I've got a lot going on Fun Astrology this weekend. Not only this newsletter, but also tomorrow, a special presentation, Level Up on Sunday night, talking about how the solar activity affected my heart, and then back on Monday. So a packed weekend ahead. Thank you guys for listening. Bye-bye.